My name is Naomi Grace Rivers, and what I'm about to tell you is something very personal. It's not just a story, it's something that happened to me, something real that I carry in my heart every single day. I hope as you listen, you keep your heart open, because what I went through could happen to anyone. And maybe, just maybe, there's something in this story that you need to hear. There was a time when my life looked normal on the outside. I wasn't rich, but I had what I needed. I worked in a little store. It didn't pay much, but it helped me get by. I rented a small apartment. Not the prettiest place, but it was mine. Things weren't perfect, but I felt okay. Then slowly, things started to change. My job let me go. They said they couldn't afford to keep me. I tried to find another one, but nothing came through. I applied to so many places, but no one called back. I spent the little savings I had on rent and food, but it wasn't enough. Before I knew it, I was behind on bills. The landlord gave me a few warnings and then told me I had to leave. I packed my things, or at least what I could carry. I didn't have a car. I didn't have family who could take me in. I just walked out with my backpack and a few clothes. I remember that day clearly. I stood outside my building, not knowing where to go. The world felt big, loud, and cold. At first I thought maybe I'd just sleep outside for one night and figure something out the next day. But one night turned into another. I started sleeping on benches in parks, under bridges, anywhere I could find some shelter. I would ask strangers for food. Sometimes they helped. Many times they didn't even look at me. Some people crossed the street when they saw me coming. Others looked at me like I was trash, like I had done something wrong, but I hadn't. I was just someone who had fallen on hard times. The days were long and tiring. The nights were even worse. I was always cold, always scared. I couldn't sleep well because I was afraid someone might hurt me or steal my things. And when it rained, everything got wet. My clothes, my blanket. I remember one night in particular. I had found a corner behind a store where it was quiet. I tried to sleep, curling up in a ball, hoping the cold wouldn't get to me. But it did. My fingers were so cold I couldn't feel them. My legs hurt. My chest felt tight. I started shaking. I told myself, just hang on, Naomi, just a little longer. That night, as I lay there shaking, I knew something was different. It wasn't just cold anymore. It felt like my whole body was slowing down. My breath got weaker. My thoughts became quiet. It was like the world around me was slipping away little by little. And then it happened. I didn't feel the cold anymore. I didn't feel pain. I didn't feel scared. It was like I had stepped out of my body. One moment I was lying in that dark alley, and the next moment I was floating above it. I looked down and saw myself lying there still and quiet. My eyes were closed. My skin was pale, but I wasn't afraid. In fact, I felt more peaceful than I had ever felt in my whole life. There was no weight, no hunger, no fear. I felt free, like I had been carrying a heavy bag my whole life, and someone finally took it off my shoulders. I didn't understand what was happening, but something inside me whispered, "This is not the end. This is the beginning." And then I saw the light. It was the brightest thing I had ever seen, but it didn't hurt my eyes. It didn't make me want to turn away. In fact, I wanted to move closer to it. The light wasn't just shining, it was alive. It was full of warmth, full of peace, full of something I can only describe as love. A love so strong it felt like it could fill up the whole sky. I started to drift toward the light, not with my legs, but like I was being gently pulled by something kind and soft. I wasn't afraid. I wasn't lost. I felt like I was finally going home. Then, in the middle of the light, I felt a presence. I didn't see a face the way we see each other's faces, but I knew who it was. I didn't need anyone to tell me it was Jesus. His presence wrapped around me like a blanket. I could feel his love soaking into every part of me. My mind, my soul, my heart. There were no words spoken out loud, but I heard him clearly deep inside. His voice was not made of sound. It was made of peace, of knowing, of truth. He didn't make me feel ashamed of my past. He didn't ask why I had become homeless. He didn't look down on me. He saw me, the real me. And in his presence, I felt something I hadn't felt in a long, long time. I felt safe. There are no perfect words to describe being in the presence of Jesus. It's like being held by someone who knows every part of you, your pain, your fears, your secrets, and still loves you more than you can ever understand. I didn't feel dirty. I didn't feel forgotten. I felt loved, deeply loved. And in that moment, I thought maybe this was it. Maybe I would stay there forever. Maybe I would finally be free from all the pain I had known. While I was standing there in that warm, endless light, I felt Jesus showing me things, not with pictures like a movie, but more like memories rising up from inside me, only clearer, brighter, full of meaning I hadn't seen before. First, I saw myself sitting on a cold sidewalk, begging for food. People walked past me, so many of them. Some looked right through me like I was invisible. Others turned their faces away. I felt again the sting of being ignored, of feeling like I didn't matter. But then Jesus helped me see something I hadn't noticed before. I saw one young man who had looked at me with kind eyes. He hadn't said a word, but his eyes were full of care. I had forgotten all about him, but now I could feel the warmth of his gaze, and I knew it had given me strength that day. I saw an old woman who had handed me a small sandwich without saying anything. I had been too ashamed to even say thank you at the time, but now I saw how that one small act had filled me with hope. Jesus helped me see that those tiny moments had meaning. They weren't just kind gestures, they were seeds of love. And they had stayed with me. They helped me live one more day, and then another. Then everything changed. Jesus showed me two different people, not from my life, but from somewhere else. Like he was helping me understand something deeper. First, I saw a man in a giant house. His clothes were perfect. His walls were covered in gold. His table was full of food. But when I looked at his face, I saw something strange. He wasn't smiling. He looked cold and angry. His eyes were tired, like he hadn't known peace in a very long time. He sat all alone, not because no one lived near him, but because he had built walls around his heart. He had everything the world calls success, but inside, he was poor. Then I saw another man. He was sitting on a street corner, wrapped in a dirty blanket. His hands were shaking, and his face was worn from the weather. But right next to him was a little boy, and this man broke his bread in half to share it with the child. They smiled at each other. There was joy in their eyes. I felt their love. And then Jesus spoke into my heart, not with loud words, but like a deep truth that filled my whole being. He said, "Poverty is not about what's in your pocket. It's about what's in your heart." That truth hit me hard. I had always thought I was poor because I had no home, no food, no job. But now I was seeing what Jesus sees. Some people are rich in money but poor in love. And some people, even with nothing, are rich in soul. He helped me understand that the world gets it backwards. We look at people's clothes, their cars, their houses, and we call that wealth. But heaven sees things differently. Heaven looks at love, kindness, trust, courage, the heart that gives even when it's hurt. Jesus wanted me to see that the most powerful thing in the world isn't money, it's love. And the smallest act of love, even just a smile, can mean more than all the riches in the world. In his presence, I started to cry. Not because I was sad, but because I had never felt this kind of truth before. I had spent so long thinking I was forgotten, worthless. But now I knew, even in my lowest moment, when I had nothing, I had love. And that made me rich in the eyes of God. As I stood there, surrounded by that endless light and love, I felt Jesus drawing me even deeper into something beautiful. It was like he wanted me to truly understand how powerful love really is. Not just big, heroic love, but the small, quiet kind too. The kind that often goes unnoticed. The kind most people think doesn't matter. But to him, everything done in love matters. He showed me something like a pond. Calm, still water. Then I saw a tiny pebble drop into it. Just one little stone. But the ripples moved across the whole pond, reaching places far away from where the pebble had landed. I stood there watching those ripples spread, and I suddenly understood this was how love works. He helped me see that every kind word, every small act of kindness, every time we choose to help instead of turning away, it creates ripples. We may not see where those ripples go, but they move. They travel, they reach people we never meet, and sometimes they even come back to us when we need them most. I remembered a time when I shared the last bit of bread I had with another woman who was hungry like me. I hadn't thought much of it then. I just felt she needed it more than I did. But now, in this light, I saw the chain reaction that came from that one act. She smiled that day, she later helped someone else, and they helped someone else after that. And Jesus was showing me that love never dies, it keeps going. I saw how many people in the world are hurting, walking through their own kind of darkness, feeling unseen, unloved, unwanted, and yet a single act of care could be like lighting a candle in that darkness. And if more people kept lighting candles, even tiny ones, the whole world could become brighter. Jesus showed me that we often think big changes come from big people with power and money. But in heaven's eyes, the greatest power is in the small things: a child hugging a sad friend, a stranger giving their jacket to someone who's cold, a woman choosing to forgive, a man choosing not to judge. He let me feel it, not just see it, but feel it. How these small acts rise up like sweet perfume before God. They are not forgotten. They are not wasted. They are recorded, remembered, and honored in ways we can't even imagine. And I realized that even in all my pain, even when I had nothing, I had still created ripples. Just by choosing love, just by holding on, just by not giving up. I wasn't worthless. I was never forgotten. My life had meaning, even when I couldn't see it. And then I felt something else. Jesus was getting ready to send me back. I didn't understand it right away. I thought maybe I would stay there with him forever. I wanted to. It was the safest, warmest place I'd ever known. But I could feel it in my soul. My journey wasn't over. There was something he wanted me to do, something I needed to bring back. Even though I wanted to stay in that light forever, I could feel Jesus gently sending me back. Not because he was pushing me away, but because he was trusting me with something important, something I had to carry into the world. He was giving me a second chance, not just to live, but to love in a new way. And then, just like that, I was back. It happened fast. One moment I was wrapped in that warm light, and the next, I was gasping for breath. My eyes opened wide. I heard shouting. I saw flashing lights. Paramedics were around me. One of them said, "We thought we lost you," but I had not been lost. I had been found in the most beautiful place of all. They said I had no pulse for a while, that my body had gone cold, but somehow I came back, and I knew it wasn't luck, it was love. Since that night, I haven't been the same. I still don't have much in this world. I still walk the streets sometimes. I still see the same problems. But my eyes have changed. My heart has changed. I see people differently now. I see with the kind of love Jesus showed me now. I tell my story wherever I can. I speak to people on street corners, in shelters, in churches, even on buses or waiting lines. I want people to know that the ones we often walk past, the ones who are hungry, dirty, tired, they matter. They are not forgotten. They are not broken beyond repair. Every person, no matter how poor they may seem, still has something sacred inside them. They still carry light. They still carry love. And every person, rich or poor, is called to see each other, to lift each other, and to love each other. If you're listening to me right now, I want you to remember this. You are loved. You are seen, and you are here for a reason. Please don't keep that love to yourself. Share it even in small ways. A smile, a kind word, a warm meal. These things matter more than we know. And if this story touched your heart, even just a little, I ask you to stay connected. Subscribe to this channel so you don't miss testimony like this. Testimony that remind us of what really matters. Because sometimes, one story can be the ripple that changes someone's whole life. Thank you for listening. Thank you for still believing in love.